years ago, we started doing, that was actually our first film festival, and it
Hmm.
was called Cinemaniacs Film Festival, and we had it at Cine El Rey. You were one of the filmmakers that submitted your films for our
Yes.
film festival, which got a great response. But I know you weren't able to attend. I know because, like, as I mentioned, I've never met you. It's the first time we talked.
Correct.
But yeah, I was looking forward to meeting everybody there. However, you know, we weren't, you weren't in attendance. But just to let you know, your film got a very good response, and I enjoyed it myself when I first saw it before showing it. You did a great job, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a. I did remember that actually. The At the time I was living up in the Houston area, so but originally I am from Harlingen. I'm back here, Harlingen now, but I was just I came across. I forgot how I came across y'all's um entry, if it was on Film Freeway or somewhere.
That's what I was
Um,
going to ask. That was going to be one of my questions. I wanted to
yeah,
ask you about that.
I don't remember. I might have just seen it on one of the posts in one of the Facebook groups here from the
Hmm.
Valley or something, or something like that, and I just submitted it and stuff. That film was going on a couple different film festivals, so I was like, oh, yeah, I'll try this one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you did. It would have been great to have seen you there, just to,
Hmm.
so you could have basically, so you could have seen the response your film got, because it did. Everybody was very kind. Everybody was very, the audience was great actually that night. They
Hmm.
enjoyed every film, but it would have been great to just, also meet you, and so you could witness their reaction as well.
Yeah, and I
But
think my fiance, my girlfriend at the time, she went to that film festival like in my stead because I couldn't go. Um, and she said that she had enjoyed it and all that kind of stuff. So
oh, that's cool. That's cool. And this is you said your fiance?
yeah, my fiance, she was my girlfriend at the time, but she's my fiance now. So
Oh, okay. Okay, cool, cool. Well, congratulations on that, by
thank
the
you.
way. That's great. That's Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Talk the Talk. I'm your host, Jose Olmeda, and my guest today is Kevyn Kimak.
Kimak, but yes, it's close enough.
Kimak. Okay, okay. And Kevin is Kevin. I mean, it's spelled different, but it's
Yeah,
Kevin.
it's Kevin.
All right. I like the way it's spelled though. That's cool. That's cool. I have family in Houston. So I know how that it's some people say it's funny, man, because you'll have people say it's a 6 hour drive. Some people say seven. And
Yeah.
I remember experiencing 8 when I was younger, because maybe it's because of who was driving.
Yeah, and it depends also like what part of Houston. Like I lived up in Conroe, which is like 20 minutes north of or 45 minutes north of like downtown Houston, up on I-45, like on the way to Dallas. So I usually said it was like, oh yeah, it was like a 6 hour drive or
Right. Okay. There you go. Exactly. You're right. You're right about that. I mean, there's different parts of Houston, and also, man, we got to mention, once you get into Houston, there's that traffic,
oh
like the
yeah.
traffic, from all the freeways and the expressway. I mean, you never know really how long it's going to be until you get to that point. Once you get there, you're like, okay,
Yep.
now, like, it took a while to get here, but now it might take a little bit longer, or it might not, depending.
Yep. Yeah,
But
especially when you're cheap like me, you don't want to take the toll roads.
well, there you go. Exactly. And me. I'm guilty. I'm
Yep,
guilty. You
yep.
can't see my blurred out hand right now. You can't see my blurred out hand because this is just what I went with. But so Kevin, it's nice to meet you finally. It really is. Um, so I want to talk to you about, I saw your movie Nails. I'm a fan. I
Mhm.
liked it. I really thought you did a good job. Want to know, are you still making your own short films? Are you making any kind of films yourself still, whether they're short films or full length features?
Yeah, I haven't made anything recently. Nails was the most recent film I've directed and like produced myself. Um it was kind of like a school when I was open film school up in Houston. That was kind of like our one of our projects and stuff was to make a film. So that was kind of the result of that. Um,
Wow. Wow.
and so
Cool.
I
I
haven't
did
I
not
haven't
know
just
that.
gotten yeah I haven't gotten around to um, making anything new yet. I've just mostly been pursuing the more um, technical side, being a first AC, being a director of photography, cinematographer. I've been more producing. Um, Heading towards that direction of the film side. So I just haven't
Mhm.
gotten around to making my own projects. I have like a couple projects in the on the back burner that I've written scripts for, but sometimes you just write scripts, you don't even know if you're ever gonna get to them or you know.
Right, right. No, you're right. I know exactly what you mean. I've written, and for me, I've like I have a problem where I'll come up with movie ideas, and that was my problem at first. I would have so many movie ideas that I would jot the names first. It was the titles of because I always, if I ever thought of an idea, I would always want to like add a great title to it. I felt like a great title was
Mhm.
necessary. So I would come up with a great title, and then I wouldn't. That was kind of bad that I had so many ideas because I wouldn't even like. I would put little ideas here and there for each film, but I never really started the scripts on any of them. And this was early on, though. Now I've
Mhm.
learned, yes, you have to like, if you have an idea, sure, write an idea or write it, the title if you want, but stay focused and get that script done for whatever project you want to complete.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to stick with it, and then move on to something else, or but that's cool. That's cool. So that's how that all happened. So what film school did you go to over there in Houston?
So I was living up in Conroe, but I was going up to school in Huntsville at Sam Houston State University. They have a pretty great film program over there. So I was attending there at the time when I was doing the that film Nails.
That's great. That's great. So I didn't mean to ask you, sticking with that, how did you go about like, I mean, did that teach you how to, like a producer in some sorts, like, like where you had to get everybody, like you had to be in charge of getting the actors, getting the crew. How was that process for that particular film?
For that film, and it was a while back now. I made that film.
Right.
I think it was like 2019 or so.
Yeah,
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 it's
it's
been
been
that
a
long.
while.
All right. Make me feel old.
I'm
No.
the one. Yeah, believe me, don't worry. I think you're way younger compared to me, so don't feel too
um,
bad.
yeah, but that film, almost all the crew was a student at the school. So just meeting up with kids in class. The teacher kind of gives us this project and is like, okay, make this like 5 minute short film or whatever, and um, that was basically like the whole class was just making that one project between script writing and finding locations. There's actually a funny story with the location. We'll probably can get into that in a little bit later. But yeah, I just got my friends together that I knew. I knew this guy. He wanted to be a sound mixer in the production industry, so he was the boom op and sound mixer for that project. I knew another guy who wanted to be a cinematographer who had a really great camera. So I was like, okay, let's hey, do you want to be the cinematographer for this project? And then that was basically it. And then one of the caveats to that project was they wanted the actors, or at least one of the actors, to not be a student, to be a person that we find out in the industry who just wants to work on the project and stuff. um it couldn't be a student or a teacher at the school.
Okay. Okay.
So
And it
basically
just
we
had to
had,
be just one, at least one.
yeah, at least one.
Okay. Wow.
uh
Interesting.
s- so I just went around talking to different people on Facebook, different Facebook groups. We had like a whole casting call process for it.
Yes.
Um, and we ended up with the person who played the father in the project ended up being that actor and stuff. So it ended up working out
That's
pretty well.
great. That's pretty funny you say that because that's actually who I was thinking about. I was wondering if it was him.
Yeah,
He stands out. He stands out in that film,
yeah,
which is and wow, he did a good job. He did a really good job.
yeah. He was a
So
he was a great actor.
yeah, I thought so as well. I thought so as well. Also, of course, the sons, the son, and they all did a good job. And you did a great job too, man, directing that and putting it together. Like I said, it had a great response, and I became a fan of the film.
Hmm.
So, and that's why I was asking also if you're still doing, movies and stuff like that, because I'm sure more people would like to see your work. But what is your main passion and focus, and that you're doing right now as a professional?
Hmm. Right now, I'm mostly working as a first AC and a cinematographer on different commercials and short films, feature films, whether they're in the local RGV area or sometimes I'll travel to Houston and San Antonio to do some commercials and stuff like that. Like while I was up in Houston, I was doing commercials for Adidas, with like James Harden and the Houston Rockets and stuff. And
Wow,
then Academy Sports and Outdoors did a commercial with them. Um,
that's awesome.
and then I'm also currently working for the Harlingen School District, HCIC, and I'm one of the videographers for the district. So we're making small little commercial videos and promotional material for their YouTube channel and Instagram, all that kind of stuff.
Also, that's specifically for the school.
That's specifically for the school district. Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. That is amazing. That is amazing. So you've got a lot of stuff you are doing right now as far as working in the for in film. Like,
Trying to.
well, it sounds like it. It sounds like you're doing a great job. It sounds like you're doing a really great job. And that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm very happy for you. Is it cinematography that you enjoy the most in the art, the in film?
Probably. I kind of go back and forth between being a cinematographer and doing directing. Um, they're very they can go hand in hand, but they're also going to be very different jobs. As well as I'm very attracted to the technical side of film, so that's why I like being a first AC. Working with cameras, building camera rigs and stuff like that. Um, that's how I kind of like got started into the film industry, was being a first AC, and I used to do some editing on other stuff, but I don't do that anymore. But yeah.
Can you, just for people who wouldn't know exactly what a cinematographer does, could you describe or explain what that is?
Sure. The cinematographer is he's kind of a department head between the camera department and the G&E department, the grip and electric department. So he is the one who's in charge of kind of developing the image that you see on screen. So whether it's picking out how the lighting is going to be in a scene, what the composition of the camera is going to be, all that kind of stuff. Also, working with the director and the production designers, they're kind of the painter of the image. I would you could say, and the different paints and lights are the different brush strokes and stuff like that. So that they're kind of developing what the overall image looks like on camera. Um,
I love that. I love that. That's great. Great explanation. That's cool. Um, so when now you mentioned working on a rig, what is that? Well, what exactly does that entail for like to work on a rig? How is that? Could you describe that as well?
sure. So like when you're first AC, most people will associate a first assistant camera as the focus puller, the person who's is going to be pulling focus, making sure things are sharp. But that's not the only job that the first AC has. The first AC is also in charge of building out the camera package, so attaching the handles and the wireless transmitters and the follow focus. Attaching the lenses to the camera. It's much more of like a technical, like how are we going to build this whole camera rig? Are we going to put it on a gimbal? Are we going to put it on a big crane? Are we going to hang it off the side of a car? And they're like kind of, working with the camera department and the grips to kind of build out this camera system for the DP or the director.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Can you tell us about your company, Kevyn Ryan Films and Photography? Would that be the name of your company?
Yes. Um, yeah, it's more of it's kind of like a general purpose. It has like two sides of the business. The films is more of the my cinematography, videography side. The Working as a first assistant camera, and the photography is doing portraits, wedding photos, stuff like that. Just kind of like diversify, trying to get more clients and stuff like that. Um,
Sure, sure.
but yeah,
Kind of like offering more services, but in with great quality.
exactly.
Like, because I mean, being a cinematographer, I'm pretty sure you're all about quality.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I
Yeah.
try. I go a little like a little too much for small things, but I think it makes a difference on smaller projects when you try to
Well,
go as hard as you can, trying to make the image look as best as you can with the stuff that you have available.
yeah, and I'm sure whoever you're working for appreciates that you're working hard like that to get something to look so beautiful, or amazing. So
Mhm.
and then not only whoever's working for you, but also the audience, whoever witnesses that or watches it, they appreciate it. So that's good, and it also shows how hard and how dedicated you are as far as basically it's kind of like the word that comes to mind is perfectionist, and sometimes when you see somebody trying to be a perfectionist working on something, it just shows how passionate they are and how much it means to them,
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. And like one example is, we working for the school district. Um, like we don't need to do very elaborate setups for certain things. Like we have this project that we do once a month called Student of the Month. Um, and basically it's just a sit down interview with the students. They pick like two students from each high school and we do an interview with them, and then we'd have some like small b-roll, right? And we could go very very simple, have like just a simple little LED panel light, camera on a tripod, and they shoot the interview and that's it, right?
right,
But we have access to quite a bit of equipment at our with the school district, to give us a fairly good budget for purchasing equipment at the beginning of the year, so we have a pretty good setup. And I was like, well, we might as well just try to take as much as we can, even though it's going to take a lot longer to shoot. But now we can set up three different lights. We can have a camera on a slider. We can, make
nice,
the production value of this student of the month video way higher than it would normally be.
right. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, make it much more that much more of a fantastic highlight for
Mhm.
those students.
Exactly.
But
Even
that's
though
great.
not many people see it, like we don't get a whole lot of views because they're just not made for that. But just to show, we want to keep the quality level of our productions, from everything from our student of the month videos to our big commercials that we do once a year, to a certain standard.
Of course, yes. All right. And well, they got the perfect guy for the job. They got the perfect guy for the job.
I
So
hope
that's
so.
awesome. I was going to ask you. So what I need to ask you this. I mean, this is something I need to know. I'm sure your fans want to know, and people who are just maybe just getting to know you. What film would you say inspired you to want to? Because I think everybody has a particular film that, and it may be one, it might be more, but for sure, everybody at least has to have one that just grabbed them and made them want to pursue their work in film, whatever that may be. Whatever aspect they end up doing. There's one film, or maybe it's a TV series, maybe it's a commercial. Who knows? I mean, I never thought about it being a commercial, but is there something in particular that you saw at any time in your life that inspired you to pursue filmmaking?
Sure. It's hard to say. I was making videos like ever since I was really young. I just that was kind of like my fun thing to do. I was take my parents' camera and just make like a stupid little video in the backyard. Or I was a competitive cheerleader and gymnast, so I would make videos of me tumbling and stuff like that. And so that was just like my fun thing to do. And then when I got to high school is when I started taking audio and video production classes, and kind of got into it. And then when I really decided, it wasn't until like probably after high school, once I started college, when I fully decided, like, I'm going to pursue filmmaking and video production.
Okay.
Um, and at first, I wanted to go into doing editing and visual effects. That was kind of like my thing I wanted to go into. And it was like, after watching like the Avengers movies and the Star Wars movies, like, I used to make like, don't look them up because they're terrible, but I used to make Star Wars fan films. And
I have to look them up now. I have to look them up just because
they're
I
not
want to see.
great. They're not great. They're not great. Um, yeah, like my first one was in high school, and it was not good. But
I
the visual, I took a lot of pride in the visual effects I did for those, and I actually used the work I did for that to get me working with, I don't know if you've heard of them, but Elvia Films. They're a production company here in the Valley.
Yeah, aren't they? They're located in Brownsville or Harlingen, right?
They were originally in Harlingen. They've kind of moved to Brownsville now, but
Yes.
they were originally in Harlingen. Basically,
The owner of it by a film
yeah,
club. He's a really nice, huh?
Max Rojas and Javi.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've only met Max. I've only met Max Rojas. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He
Yeah.
actually, I met him, and we actually had like a meeting for through the RGV Independent Film Club or
Hmm.
Film Network. I'm sorry, I'm the one that
Yes.
created that page, but yeah, RGV Independent Film Network. And we used to have meetings before
Yeah.
COVID, and he went to one, and he was talking about how he had his production, available, his studio.
Hmm.
So it's really nice, and he's a great guy.
Yeah. Great. I still do stuff with them.
Oh,
Um,
awesome, awesome.
and basically that's how with him and their studios, like how I got my first job working in video production was I came onto their studio as an editor for some of their feature films. And because they saw the work I had done, like the visual effects work I had done from those Star Wars fan films, and that's how I got kickstarted into it. Um,
See,
and
they can't be
then
that bad.
the visual effects were okay. The visual effects were okay.
Oh, okay,
The
okay, I got you.
story, the acting, all that kind of
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
not great.
Do
I
you act too, Kevin, or no? Or
I acted in those movies.
oh, okay, okay. But so then you're just being a little hard on yourself, probably. But
It was not good.
oh,
It
okay,
was
okay.
actually me.
I gotta check those out. I gotta check those out. Though, is there any way? I mean,
Sure, I can send you the link.
oh, okay, okay. I didn't know if you had you had them on like your channel, maybe a YouTube
Yeah,
channel, or
they're on YouTube somewhere.
oh, okay. Yeah,
They
yeah. Send me the link. Send me the link for sure. I mean, I got my, I'll send you my email. I don't know if you have my email, but I can send it to you, and I'd love to
Mhm,
check them out, especially not only for the acting and the stories, but
mhm.
I need to see those special effects. I gotta see that as well. I mean, I
Yeah,
might forget.
it was the special effects, and also when I was young, I did a lot of martial arts, and my brother and I, both like my whole family did martial arts, and so my brother and I, we wanted to do all the stunts and all the stuff for that. So we added a whole lot of martial arts into those projects, and those were kind of like my first ever films I ever did was those Star Wars fan films,
Wow.
um, and part of that, so that helped me get that job at LI Films, and then eventually it just kind of spiraled into watching um, or wanting to pursue directing and cinematography and stuff like that. I mean, there's like films. You're going back to how you're asking about what specific film or what inspired me.
Right, right.
I could probably list the like one for each thing that I've done. So like one for editing, one for directing, and
Oh,
um,
nice. And man,
but
if we had the time, believe me, I would keep this interview going, and
oh
I would
yes.
love to know. but but yeah, I mean, I didn't want I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you Were
Oh
you
no,
going
no,
to
you're good.
mention one of something that one of maybe one film that you want to mention, or if you want to maybe just mention for, like you said, one for editing, one for
Yeah, I can mention that. So like the one that, like I said, what was getting me into visual effects and editing was probably like the Star Wars movies. Especially when The Force Awakens came out, that's kind of like inspired doing those fan films. As far as like directing, it was a movie, The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith,
wow.
and Good Will Hunting was another one that was a really big
Oh, that's a
inspiration
good
for
movie. Yeah,
directing.
that's a good movie
Um,
too. Yeah.
yeah, great movies.
Right,
Um,
right.
and then as far as like cinematography, going back to Star Wars Rogue One is probably one of my favorite films as far as like a cinematography perspective.
Wow.
As well as like the movie Joker more recently.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. The one with Joaquin Phoenix, right?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that one. I saw that one. That was a good movie. That was a good movie for sure. And of course, was Academy Award nominated, and
Yeah.
I'm sure. I think they won Academy Awards as well.
I think they won a few. I think Joaquin Phoenix probably won a couple best actors from that as well, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. You mentioned you used to be a or used to do tumbling. I'm sorry, you used to be tumbling.
Yes.
I noticed that you are a coach. You're a tumbling coach as well, and then you mentioned that you do martial arts. Man, you are like you're an amazing guy. So I'm just saying, and it's funny when you mentioned MMA, or I'm sorry, martial arts. I love MMA. I love it. I started
Mhm.
watching it like I don't remember exactly the year, but the first one I ever saw was you, and I used to watch the old ones, of course, when there was no rules and everything. I mean,
Hmm.
I used to watch all those when they were back on pay-per-view. Well, they're still on pay-per-view, but
Yeah, like the old Hoist
when
Gracie fights and stuff.
right, exactly. And Chemo and Hoist Gracie, Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn,
Hmm.
uh, and
Tito
of course Don
Ortiz.
Fry. Yeah, exactly. Tank Abbott. So I used to watch all those, but then what got me like I kind of I guess I forgot about it, and early on, and then I didn't get to watch the ones where everything was starting to get sanctioned.
Mm.
And the one I at a Hastings in McAllen, I loved Hastings. God, I miss it. But I was at a Hastings and I saw that of course they had a section for MMA and wrestling, and I picked up UFC 44 Undisputed with Tito Ortiz versus Randy Couture.
Okay.
Actually, it was Randy Couture versus Tito Ortiz, or I think it was Tito versus Randy Couture. It was the same thing, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, that was the first event I saw since watching it back in the day, and I just got hooked from there. I was
Hmm.
hooked. I had to see what happened with UFC 43 because I found out about Chuck Liddell. I found out about what Randy Couture did to Chuck Liddell, and I
Hmm.
had to watch it though, and it was amazing. And then I found out what Chuck Liddell did before that, and I was like, wow, what Randy Couture did at 40 years old was just incredible. And
Yeah.
then so I just kept watching and watching. But no, it's I just you brought up martial arts, so I just thought I'd ask you: do you watch UFC at all, or do you?
I do. I haven't watched in a while just because of busy working and stuff. Like I said, my dad is actually a martial arts instructor, and
Wow,
so like our whole family was into martial arts like ever since I was like 2 years old.
wow,
Growing up.
wow.
But I kind of fell off doing it when I was around like 15 or so.
Okay,
Started getting more into doing the cheerleading and gymnastics and all that kind of stuff.
man, you
Um,
started really young. You started at 2, you said?
yeah, pretty much.
Wow, wow. Nobody messed with this guy.
I'm a little rusty, but
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 you can
yeah,
handle yourself, I'm sure.
martial
That's
arts was
fun.
a big part of our family, and we watched a whole lot of MMA. Like I used to watch a lot of George St. Pierre.
Oh yeah, there
Um,
we go.
yeah, that was kind of like the guy I followed watching all the time. Every time he fought, and ever since he's not fought in a while, I haven't really been watching too much. I watched a little bit of like, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting names right now?
Usman, because that's the whole like everybody's kind of comparing GSP to him nowadays. Kamar Usman.
Ah, no. Oh, I know. Why am I forgetting his name? Conor McGregor. That whole
Oh,
thing
okay.
going on. I
Yeah,
was watching him a bit. I wasn't a huge fan, but he was a good fighter, so watched some of
yeah.
that stuff. And um, yeah, I just haven't been able to watch in a while in the last like 2 years or so. I haven't really followed it.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. Next week there's one, and man, it's going to be a good one. We got
Hmm.
Covington versus Masvidal, and
Okay.
that they used to train together at American Top Team. It's going to be a heck of a fight, and well, now they just hate each other. So it's like, it's kind of like when Tito and Chuck fought. It kind of reminds
Hmm.
me of that because they were former friends, former training
Yeah.
partners, and so everybody always gets hyped for those big fights. But you have a show that can you tell us about the yeah, go ahead. I think you already know what I'm talking about.
The Companions of Strength.
What's that?
The Companions of Strength show. The Dungeons and Dragons show.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of got into Dungeons and Dragons in college, and the whole time, one being a video production guy, I wanted to do a show based on Dungeons and Dragons. And so basically, with Max Rojas, we were talking about he's also a player on that show.
Oh,
Uh,
cool,
we
cool.
we get together every Saturday, and we have an online D&D game that we stream live on Twitch and YouTube. We do that every Saturday at like 7 p.m. or so, and yeah, we have a lot of fun with that. I think we've done it for we had an older one. We tried doing podcasts, but it didn't work out. But this show that we've been trying to do it pretty consistent every Saturday, and we're like on episode 50 something,
Wow.
51, 52. So yeah, we've been going for over a year and a half for now doing that show.
Wow, man. Can you once again can you mention how people can check that out if they want
Yeah,
to check it out?
so you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/companions of strength. And on our YouTube channel, at the channel name is Companions of Strength as well, and we stream there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Um, and okay, Kevin. So I have one more question. Is there anything you want to still accomplish?
Yeah, I still want to really pursue the cinematography as far as I can. Working on more projects in the future, bigger bigger productions, bigger set pieces for different films and stuff like that. I also have a couple scripts that I wrote that I really really want to direct. One of them's it's a Dungeons and Dragons TV series, um, and but the budget for it is kind of crazy because it requires a lot. It's based off of a book,
Okay.
and but it's so I kind of put that one on the back burner because it's not really feasible to produce right now. And but yeah, that's just kind of like the goal is to make that project happen. And I kind of always think about it as like I just want to work on this project or I want to do this project. In a I keep trying to keep that mindset.
Well, you mentioned that one, but you said there was another one. You said there was a couple projects. Did you want to mention the other project? You said the Dungeons and Dragons, and that would be a full length feature.
So I've done it a couple of ways. I've wrote it as a film, as a feature film. I also wrote it as a TV series. And I think it
Okay.
probably works better as a series. It is based off of a book called The Legend of Drizzt by R.A. Salvatore. Drizzt is probably one of the most popular Dungeons and Dragons characters in modern novels, and
Okay.
but no one has made a project based on him yet. No
Okay.
one. There's been like rumors and people have said that they're going to make it, but nothing has ever come to fruition. And so my goal is to make that TV series happen. It's going to take a lot of money for it to happen.
Well, I think I definitely wish you the best on that. I'm sure you'll make it happen. You've done a lot already in your life and some amazing things. So once again, congratulations on that. You got my support. If I see anything on Facebook, I mean, I'll be sharing it on my page. My whole thing has been to try to get more exposure for people, especially in the Valley.
Yeah,
And there's been people along the way that that had the same goal and purpose. And I, I wish them the best too. But I want to try to get just people like filmmakers, especially any entertainers, any people who have artistic expressions, here in the Valley. I just want to kind of try to help as much as I can, with promotion and all that, which is why we're doing those film festivals. I
yeah,
want to focus on what we have here. So that's why we tried those film festivals. And maybe once this pandemic's over, I'd like to, I want to, it's in me. I would like to do it again. I just hope we get the support and
yeah.
all that. And maybe, man, maybe one day we can, hopefully we'll see you there at one of our film festivals. We'd like to see you there. And who knows, maybe we'll somewhere down the line. I mean, we could work together or something,
Mhm.
but no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely. I'm trying to get back into, like I said, I was up in Houston, so I've come back down to the Valley, trying to bring, the experience I learned from up there back down, to the people here and the productions here. So, I'm trying to get back involved with everyone and, the whole community down here. We want to build it up so that this, some
Exactly.
people trying to call it Valleywood, trying to make our own little
Yeah,
hub for video, filmmaking down here.
that's right. Valleywood. All right, Kevin. Well, thank you so much once again. Thank you for your time. You're awesome guest. And is there anything you'd like to leave? Any last message?
Oh, on the spot. Just keep pursuing your dreams. Keep trying to, you know, you don't need the most elaborate things. Just go ahead and make your film, make your project, and have fun. Learn and you know try to keep learning and gain more experience as much as you can, and you'll get a lot of success.